Hello everyone, so now we are going to learn how we can configure the BGP. So let me take this lab. I already pre-configure here. Configuration I deleted. Okay, if you want you can see configuration already I deleted. So these are the two router we have. In this one we are going to configure the BGP. You can see this is the R1 and R1 is having the interface IP 192.168.12.1 here. And you have one loopback here 1.1.8 and we are using the AS number 1 here, and you have the R2 is also using the same AS number. If you are using the same AS number, you and your neighbor, then we are calling as a IBGP. And if you see 192.168.12.2 will be this side IP, and you have the loopback interface that will be 2.2.2/8. so we need to advertise this network. Here we will advertise 1.1.1, here we will advertise 2.2.2. So let's do the configuration here. This is a CISCO modeling lab. We can do the BGP lab in this one. Up to 5 nodes we can use, it is freely available. So I am using that one. So I will take the R1 console and R2 console. Now we need to configure the BGP. So if you want to configure BGP, first of all you should have the IP address. So what I will do, first we will assign the IP. So before that one I will change the name of the router as R1. Then I will assign the IP address to the interface. So we know that we have this interface E0/0. So I will use this E0/0 and I am going to assign the IP address here. So IP we are using here 192.168.12.1. Give space, write 255.255.0 and write no shut here. Then we can configure the loopback 0 here, and I will assign the IP to the loopback 0 also. So I am using /8, so this will be the interface, this will be the subnet mask of that one. So I assign the IP address. If you want to check, we can write show IP interface brief. You can see here these are the two interface we have, and we configure the IP manually. And now we will do the BGP. So you need to write router BGP process ID like we are using in the OSPF. Here we are using the AS number. If you want to put question mark, you can put. You can write the AS number, autonomous system number. You have the two format. One is a decimal number, one is a dotted one. So which one you want you can use. So we will use the decimal one. I will write the AS number is 1 here. After that you need to make the neighbor. So who is your neighbor? If you see here, you are standing here and your neighbor is this one. So neighbor IP will be 12.2. So I will configure now. Manually we need to make the neighbor. In the BGP automatically it will not become the neighbor. For security purpose manually we need to make. So neighbor, then write the neighbor IP, whatever the neighbor IP you have, 12.2 you have. After that you need to write remote AS. Okay, remote AS you need to write after that. So when you write the remote AS, you give the AS of the neighbor. So neighbor is also having the AS is 1 here. So I will write 1 here. Okay, press enter. That's all. With this command you make the neighborship. With this command you make the neighborship manually here with this IP. And now if you want to advertise your network, you need to use the network command. So here you will write network and write the network ID. So this is the network ID of that one, and then you will write the mask and you will put the subnet mask of that one. So this is the subnet mask of that one. That's all. This is a BGP configuration. This is a BGP configuration we done successfully in the R1. Then we need to go to R2 and we need to do there also. So here I will go to the R2. I will write enable config t, then host name R2. And we need to assign the IP. We will write interface E0/0. I will assign the IP address 192.168.12.2. give space 255.255.255.0 and we will write no shut here. Then we will write interface loopback 0 and we can assign the IP address to the loopback 0. We are using here 2.2.2 and 255.0.0. So already you know how to assign the IP. That's why I am not explaining in detail. So we assign the IP. If you want to check, you can write do show IP interface brief. So you can see we assign the IP here. Now you want to configure the BGP. So write router BGP. What is the AS you have here? 1 only. Here also you are using the AS 1. If you and your neighbor is having the same AS, then we will call IBGP, internal BGP. Okay, so now I need to make the neighbor. So who is your neighbor? You need to write the neighbor IP. Neighbor IP will be 12.1 and the remote AS is also 1, because if you see here what is the AS you have here also AS is 1. After that, if you want to advertise any network, you need to write the network and the network ID of that one. You can see this is a network ID. You need to calculate of this IP, that is nothing but 2.0.0.0, and you need to write mask and put here 255.0.0.0. This way we will advertise. And you can see here your neighborship form here, and here it is up, so we can wait and we can check. So this is the R1, this is the R2. If you want to check, you can write show IP route here, and you can see you have the B. If you see here, B is nothing but BGP. You can see here in your routing table, if you are getting B, that is nothing but BGP. You are learning this route 2.0.0.8 from the BGP, and you can see the AD value of IBGP is 200. That's why it is coming, because both the side we are using the same AS, so we are calling that one as a IBGP. If you are having here and here different AS, then we are calling as a EBGP. So if you are having the same AS, then we are calling as a internal BGP, that is a IBGP. If you are having this different number, then we are calling as a EBGP, external BGP. So if anyone want to go here, you have the next hop is this much, then this one, and from this much time this route is up. And if you want to check, you can write show IP BGP summary. So you can get here, you can see here what you will get. If you write show IP BGP summary, you will get the BGP router ID, BGP router identifier we are calling, that is nothing but router ID. I did not configure here router ID. If you want, we can configure also. In our next video, I will show you how to configure BGP router ID also. In here, if you did not configure the BGP router ID, automatically they will take, same as in the OSPF, they will check the loopback interface, highest IP of the loopback interface. If you don't have the loopback, they will check the physical interface, same thing they will do, and they will take here. And this is a local AS number, so this is the local, means inside R1 AS number is 1, and this is a BGP routing table version is 3. So whenever we are doing any modification, this version will increase. Okay, so and main routing table version is also 3. So these both are same only, like when you do any changes here, this number will increase here. And if you see here neighbor, so who is your neighbor? That neighbor IP is coming here, this IP, and you are using the IPv4, so version 4 you have, and AS number of your neighbor is 1, and message receive is 6, send is 6, and table version, this is same thing what you have here, that is 3 only. And how many packets you have in queue and out queue, from how much time this link is up or down, from this much time, and how many prefix they are advertising. So they are advertising only one. This neighbor is advertising only one prefix, one network. So you see 2.2.2.2 is advertising by this neighbor. So you can see this way. Okay, so this one you can use, or you can use this also, show IP BGP neighbor. So here also you can see same thing you have here, BGP neighbor and neighbor ID. Remote AS is 1, and the router ID of the remote means your neighbor router ID, and the BGP version 4. And here if you go down, you will see the TTL value. As we told before, like TTL value for IBGP will be 255 and EBGP will be 1. So you can see here TTL value is 255 for IBGP, because we are doing the AS number both the side we have same. So this is a IBGP, and we have the TTL value is 255. And after that, what we can see here, if you want, you can write show IP BGP, that is BGP forwarding table we are calling, or BGP table. So when you write show IP BGP, you can see this is a BGP table version is 3. Same thing like we told before, like whenever you make any changes, this version will increase. And local router ID is 1.1.1. And here if you see, you are getting this route. These are the state code. This is the origin code. Later when we do the attribute, that time we are going to discuss in more detail. Now just remember, if you are having this star and greater than, that means valid and best. So if you want to go to this network, this is this way you can go. This is a valid and best. And who is the next hop? How you will go? If you are getting 0.0.0 means the same router is advertising this network. Like 1.1.1 who is advertising, R1 only advertising. That's why you are getting the 0.0.0. And here we have the attribute. This is the BGP attributes. Later we are going to see metric. You have 0, local preference is nothing, weight is 32768. You will have by default 32768 weight if the router itself is advertising that network. And here if you see this one, you have I. We can say you are getting here I means you are advertising this network with network command. Here if you get I here means you are advertising this network with the network command. If you are getting here question marks means you are doing the redistribution. So later we will see this one. So here also you have I, here also you have I, means these two network we advertise with the network command. And if you see here you have I means you learn this route from the IBGP. So you learn this route from IBGP, that's why you have I here. And this is a greater than symbol star, and greater than symbol means this is the best and valid. If anyone want to go here, this will be the next hop. Okay, this way we will read this one. So in our next class we will do the what we can say EBGP. This one we done IBGP. So in our next class we will do EBGP. Then we will learn attribute, all the other stuff. Thank you. Bye.